Hi, I'm back with George Fox, our resident care expert, for some more fonts of knowledge. How are we doing?
Very good, thank you, Callum. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm all good. So, George, last week you left us with the question around how many pieces or items are there in a pair of cricket gloves? Could you enlighten us?
Yes, so cricket gloves, obviously, it's a tricky one because there's lots of different types, but the maximum number you can go up to is anything up to around 95 parts. So, and obviously both hands. But when you get the gloves with all the little digits and all the little pieces and all the little parts sewn together and the bits that go inside and the other bits that go inside, and then the bits of newspaper and all the other stuff that we've talked about before, yeah, it can really get close to 100 pieces, and some poor blighter has to sew that together. I just hope that you buy good gloves that are well priced, because that takes into account the salary that they have to earn when they're making them. Anyway, that's another topic.
Right then, George. So on to this week. What have you got for us?
So this week, this is a bit of a shameless push. I'm going to talk about the evolution of Stretton Fox in terms of the core product that is the thigh pads. So the range is expanding, and as part of the history, it was just, I thought this could be interesting, but also I'm actually going to explain a bit of the tech that's inside it. So if you do make body armor, please listen up, because, have a go. It's good. So yeah, where to start? Well, I could start from the very beginning. So it was, I think we talked in the first show, I gave a brief introduction about how I was chatting with a guy called Neil, played for Warwickshire, South African chap, very nice bloke, got on very well, and I bet him a pint that I could do a better job of making his thigh pad, which he'd sort of pulled out after a training session, with having a sort of catch up. And I just remember going, "What is that?" He goes, "Oh, it's my thigh pad." Really? And I just couldn't believe it. Like, this is your job. You get paid, and that's what you get. That's your kit. And it just looked rubbish. And so long story short, made something up. He went off to train. And that afternoon, when he was at training, we got a phone call from the Warwickshire County ground. Thought, oh bugger, what's happened? Something. He's like on the floor reeling, like, sue him. And it was, "You need to come in. This is awesome. Everyone's loving it." And I could hear like banging going on. And what was happening is it was just being passed around, and people had the bats out and they were hitting. So this is crazy. I can't believe it doesn't hurt. And so the entire squad pretty much placed in order that day. It was a long time ago. It's 2011, 2012. At the time, Jim Troughton was the skipper. Like Darren Maddy was there. It was a great team, and awesome people as well. And I have got one of the first. So Jimmy was the first to order because he was the skipper. I thought I've got to start at the top. It's rude otherwise. And so this was the first ones that were ever made for him. He's a lefty, so it goes on my right leg. But this is why they were so popular. They're 9 millimeters thick. They're super thin. They're rigid. It's basically a composite. It's several things that are kind of being put together. And they're malleable. So although it's rigid, you can shape it if you bend it and twist it. But this was quite cool. It had some early graphics on, and he'd sort of got, I think it's him. I think it's the signature, but it's really cool. It's like a graffiti tag. I just love it, that he had on there. And we did an upgrade for him sort of a couple of years later. And he said, "Oh, do you want the old ones back?" I don't really, I'm not really a hoarder. So we did, but this version, we had no idea how to stick them to people. So I had to, like all normal cricket pads, just had to sort of sew on Velcro straps, and it needed better attention. So that's that one. And then the next one, which is currently available in stores, which is actually mass produced. So instead of making them myself, this is a very different technology. And the idea is that's one I made earlier, they come flat. Is that long enough? Because I've got bad internet today. It's been raining.
That's long enough, George.
And then you put them in the oven, about 80 degrees C. The melting temperature is about 95 to 100 degrees C for some of the components. Then when it comes out, they're hot and they're soft and they're floppy. So you then wrap around your legs, and then using the straps, you let them cool down, and then they will turn into the shape that you want, which means that they will fit absolutely everybody, because I'm fed up of stuff that doesn't fit, rattling around, getting in the way. They're a tiny bit thicker. The main reason is that's about 12 mil. the main reason is the other ones, they had a very hard top surface. And one or two people, although I've never heard of an incident when it happened, said, does that sound like a bat? Or, you know, like if you get a, you know, just a little flick. So we've muffled it with that. Also, the idea is that these are ambidextrous, so you can have it that way around. So it needs to be mirrored on both sides. And this has been really popular. The entire pad is Velcro loop. So that's the fluffy part of Velcro, of hook and loop attachment. Velcro is a brand name. Other brand names are available, but everyone says Velcro. Well done, Velcro. And then it means that the straps that go on, you can put them anywhere. And what I love watching is when people first put these on, they line them up nice and straight. They're like, you know, they're perfectly together and they're all good, proper. Come back a week later and they're over here and they've wrapped, because they're just like, I just want it comfy. I just want it to work. And this gives people that flexibility. So that is currently out there. The protection level's excellent, really, really good. They're super thin, which also means for little kids, they're brilliant because, you know, thick, heavy stuff on little tiny people is not very good. It's also very popular with female cricketers because the shape, obviously, you can get it to conform to you. It's more forgiving. It's again, if you're not necessarily 6 foot tall, when you're wearing something that's maybe an inch or two thick, you know, it bulks you up. It's harder to run. So you're quicker between the crease and it doesn't hurt.
George, just on that, I mean, just out of curiosity, I mean, how long did it take for you to create a product like that? What sort of timelines would people look at?
Crikey. So it started in 2011, and that was just working with the pro circuit. In about 6 months of operating, I had over 200 county cricketers using the equipment. I've never sponsored a county player. Everyone's always paid full price. The only sponsorships I've ever done are little kids where mum and dad are a bit nervous. He's doing really well, or she's doing really well, got to county, but they're a bit scared about playing hardball, and cricket equipment can be very expensive. So those people, they need all the help they can get, and I help support that. But you know, if you're Dhoni, or if you're someone like that, you can, you know, come on, you can pay. So that was always the idea. And also, I'm not allowed to, you know, may or may not have been a customer, but I'm not allowed to name drop as a means of generating business, because that's kind of a part of the transaction, if you like. You know, you sort of, I'm not sponsoring you, so I'm not going to say this person's using it. There's quite a funny forum on the internet called Stretton Fox, where people post pictures of players wearing the kit, going, look, he's got one, that's good. And sort of the telltale is the fact that they're all Velcro, so the straps are always all over the place, even if they're not branded. So that's been good. And then we had some feedback from customers in countries where maybe access to a domestic oven isn't easy. It may be just a cultural thing, maybe just because you don't really use ovens. They said, well, that's great, but what are we going to do? Like, I'm not going to put it over an open fire, am I? So the next version, which is a slightly different level of protection, however, is completely soft. So you just put it on. You just get your Velcro and you tie it on. This is my ball, and I'm here. Oh, you can't really see the leg. I'll do the thing, because otherwise it doesn't look like I'm doing it. And I can do that, and I'm absolutely fine. I do feel pain as well. Not one of those weirdos. I've just done it so much I've gone numb. But the idea is this is awesome. But it doesn't replace the other one. It's a complement because it offers something different. That'd be really good for coaches, places where you just want 2 or 3 pairs for the whole team, you know, and then, you know, skinny person goes in, comes back out again. Someone who's not so skinny goes in, or, you know, tank goes in, or left-hander, right-hander, and that will fit everybody. So that was kind of the intention. The idea was keep people safe, stop them getting hurt, especially when they're young, and they'll commit more to the sport. They'll commit more to the shots. They won't be scared. They'll get better as a result. You know, give them the right tools, and they'll do great things. And that was kind of the ethos and the idea and the approach. And that's kind of it. That's my completely shameless push. I do apologize, but it's good fun, and it's still going strong. It's had, as with a lot of businesses, it's had huge ups and downs. The formulation changes, material changes, different people being involved. But essentially the core of it has always been the sort of one-to-one approach. And I'm very excited that it's expanding out. There is a very good thing happening with a distribution company, and we're now in shops in over 9 countries all over the world, mainly the cricket playing countries. And it's very exciting. I'm especially excited about America, actually, because although we don't necessarily hear about it, there's a phenomenal amount of cricket being played in America, and very good cricket too. And their grounds, it gets you so annoyed. It's so good. Like the building, everything's just so well put together over there.
They've got the space, haven't they?
It's just amazing. And the climate as well. Well, then again, they play in Canada as well. Nutters.
Well, it's just, but I mean, if anybody was ever unsure of George's credentials, I think that was probably a whistle-stop tour on the fact that A, incredibly passionate, B, incredibly knowledgeable, and C, obviously very effective because so many people use them. So, George, hats off to you, really. I don't mind a shameless plug when it's something that people care about. And of course, for those of you that don't know George personally, he is the type of guy that would support kids and other worthy causes, because that's just how he is. It's not a show, that's real. George, hats off to you, really, mate. It's amazing. And I hopefully backs up my early statement of that you can make pretty much anything out of soft materials, which you can. It's quite exciting, really, and hence why you're our kit expert.
That was very, very, very kind of you. Thank you very much. I guess all I'd say to people is try stuff out when you're buying it, if you can. Have a go. What's it for? Do that and see if it works, because there's a lot of stuff that's very similar, and it's amazing what you can find out when you actually try stuff. You'd always test drive a car before you bought it. That's a lot more expensive. But yeah, I see people bouncy balls and bats. That's great. But if you got a thigh pad, get a, have a go. Yeah.
So anyway, before we bring this week to a close, George, you've got a true or false for us to end the episode.
Yes. Do you find silicon compound or rubber in cricket bats?
Okay.
It might be an easy one, but it's still a question.
It is. Cool. No, I like it. Thank you so much for this week, mate. You take care, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, Callum. Cheers.